Hey everyone, it's Cathy here from Someday Consulting. I am actually down at the Association of Bridal Consultants Conference down in the Bahamas at the Sandals Royal Bahamian. So although Leslie isn't able to be here to join me today, I thought I'd take advantage and share some of this gorgeous sunshine and crystal blue azure waters and stuff with you a little bit there. What I wanted to talk to you is actually a subject that came up a bit at the conference. Our conference is more than just wedding planners. There's other vendors that have joined and been part of it too. DJs, photographers, videographers, venues, makeup artists, a bunch of different people. And one of the questions that came up from some of those vendors, and I think it's a very relevant one, is how do they get on our preferred list? And it's a really good question, and they feel, and probably I can understand entirely why, that our lists are very protected, and that it's very hard to break into a planner's list because they're, for example, very loyal, usually only to 2 or 3 photographers or such. So I thought maybe we might touch a little bit on that. And the first thing I'll say as a planner, and just to give people a bit of a background, I probably get between 8 to 30 emails a week from vendors that I don't know at all who want to be on my preferred list. And while it's great to get that information, if you think of how many volumes of people that is coming in, it makes that even difficult sometimes to even respond to all of those. And the fact is we are loyal to people. We've worked with people, we've built relationships with them. And so we do want to refer our business. Probably the biggest thing that I can share with you is, as a vendor, what are we looking for is it's someone who's easy to work with, who someone is, and same, any of these things would apply for yourselves as well. You want to work with people that are respectful of your time, who don't make you do extras and things. So I think that's really, really important. When I say who don't make us do extra work, I'm going to give you a scenario. I had a situation a couple of weeks ago with a couple that were looking for a DJ, and we made arrangements to meet with a DJ. And before that meeting, I sent the DJ a bunch of different items. So I gave him the names of the couple, I gave him the date of the wedding, I gave them the venue, I gave him, kind of a general, although it wasn't the exact itinerary, what the rundown sort of was going to be. So it was going to require ceremony musics with a microphone for the officiant. There would be transition time afterwards before the reception, and the cocktails were going to be at this venue out on the patio, so we would need music out there. And then it would be the dinner reception is going to be outside as well on the patio, and they want to do their first dances, but the venue requires them to move inside at 10 o'clock. So once again, another transition, because once again, recognizing we know that this requires additional effort, and sometimes because of the moving equipment, additional charges by the DJ. So we had that conversation. Then we met with the couple. It was a great meeting, very informative. The DJ has a fantastic personality, did a really good job of saying what he does and why he does it so well. Nothing qualms or complaints there. But we met, and as we went through and reviewed all the details again, I noticed that the DJ was not writing down any of the information. But that's okay. As I said, he had it all sent in an email. At the end of the conversation, and it was about a 60-minute meeting, like a good length for a meeting, and as I said, informative for the couple. They got all their questions answered. At the end, I asked the question, when can we expect the quote, which once again, DJ was great, says I'll get it back to you right away and stuff. He says, can you just email me the details? And as I said, I'm going to say a legitimate question, but in my brain I'm just saying, but I've just sent you all the details in a previous email, and we just reviewed them all sitting here. So you want me to, and I'm going to be honest here, my thought was, you want me to waste my time and send it to you again? And as I said, this is a wonderful DJ. I know he'll do a fantastic job for my clients, but in my brain I'm going, you're making me work harder. Okay, and once again, some would argue and say, well, that's not that much, but when you have vendors who do that all the time versus someone who doesn't, it makes it, why would you not choose the vendor that's easier to work with? Okay, so it's something to think about. Do you bring the equipment that you need, or do you need us to help you find stuff? Once again, if I've got, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to pick on DJs here, but We had one that we had to find extension cords and stuff for, where that would be something I would think that they might just keep handy in their vehicle in case it's needed. Not necessarily bring it in, but have it close by in case it is there. So that's important. As I said earlier as well, it's really, really hard for us to recommend someone we haven't worked with. And the counter argument to that a lot of vendors will say is, well, if you don't give us a chance, we can't show you what we can do. And I understand that it's a double-edged sword. So as I said, I think it's important to think about that. When we do what we call, a lot of planners do day of coordination. And it's not really day of for us, it starts 2 to 3 months out. But I use but with day of coordination, our clients are finding most of the vendors. So over the years, I've made some wonderful contacts of people that I use all the time now. But there's a phrase a lot of planners use, and I use it. It's called, we inherit the vendors. So we get what we get. And sometimes, as I said, there's some great people, and then there's some other ones that make the event very difficult, and they're hard to work with. They don't respond to emails when you send them stuff. They're not prepared on the day, and you're constantly having to solve problems for them. And those are ones that we definitely wouldn't recommend. And some, to be fair, we've had some that are so bad that they're on a, I'm going to say, will not work list. So for example, if I am meeting with clients and they tell me that they're working with a certain photographer or a certain vendor or a florist or something like that, I actually have said, I'm really sorry, but that vendor is not a good fit with our company, and as a result, I can't take your wedding. Okay, I'm not trying to talk the client into going with somebody else, but I'm being upfront about that right from the beginning. And as I said, we also share with our clients, I'm going to say vendors that I'm going to say are a better direction to go in. Now, if you're trying to get on the list, and we haven't worked together, one of the things that may work, and once again, you've got to be time sensitive and understand that sometimes we're getting so many, and especially during wedding season and that, it can be almost impossible. But finding a time to meet for coffee or something like that, share your services. But then from there, whoops, we got a cart coming through here with furniture, so that'll be a little bit loud on the dock here. Just a second, we'll wait. But what you might do is, as I said, meet with them, introduce yourself, share your services. I do keep a list, I know for myself personally, of those files, and if I'm going to say my regulars aren't available, I will go into that list and give you a chance. But at that same time, you want to make sure that works and things. Once again, I really don't mean to pick on DJs, but it just is the examples are coming. I had a DJ a couple of years ago that we had met a few times, and he indicated that he wanted to work with us and things. And I gave him, called him regarding one of our clients to sort of give him a chance. And I said to them that my couple were both extremely busy, and they had the most insane schedules of any couple I've worked with over the last 11 years. But I said they will only be in town together this summer at the same time on one day. And I gave him the date, and unfortunately he wasn't able to meet that day. And that was completely understandable. I had no problems with that. So I said, and he says, well, I like to meet with my couples before I give them a quote. And I said, I understand that completely. And under normal circumstances, I would do that anytime. But with this one couple, it's going to be impossible. They're both traveling different places. They work with different, they work with marching bands. So they were going on tours at separate times with their students and things. So it was next to impossible to meet. And this was in late May, and we were trying to meet about the middle of June. And as I said, he couldn't meet that day. I totally get that. So I asked him again, I said, well, as I said, I understand your normal policy, but with this group, we won't be able to even meet until September. And we need to make a decision before that. So could you, I've given you all the details this one time, could you put a quote together? Oh, here comes our trolley again. At least I'll maybe give you a bit of a better view. Okay, we'll get back at it now that it's gone. Anyways, so I asked him for that quote and explained, well, because they can't meet, could we please go ahead and get the quote? And I didn't hear back, and I checked again if he was going to send it, and he says, well, I prefer to meet. And once again, I reminded him that this couple won't even be back in town until September, and we need to make a decision on a DJ now due to the proximity of their wedding. And I explained again. So he never sent anything, and he kept maintaining that he wanted to meet with them in person. So along comes September, and he's like, well, I want to see about setting up that meeting. And I said to him, I said, are you, like I said, I told you we needed that information. Like, we've already gone and booked another DJ. And he was quite upset. But as I said, under those circumstances, he wasn't working with us. Like, as I said, I understand. And as I said myself, I know I like to meet with my clients and know a little bit more before I give a quote. But under more difficult and pressing circumstances, I'll adjust my practice a bit for the benefit of the couple. And he didn't do that, and he didn't get the sale. And to be fair, because he was so difficult for that, he's not someone I would ever consider again, which is unfortunate. But as I said, it's a hard thing to break onto a wedding planner's list. I'll be really honest about that. If you're trying to do that, maybe you also use existing contacts. So for example, if you work with a photographer all that time, check with them who they work with, who are the planners that they do, and that might be a way to also build a connection. So for example, if you were cold calling me out of the blue to get on my list, but you have worked with a photographer that I work with quite often or something, or a DJ, or a cake person or something, you could say that you had been talking to that person and they suggested that you give me a call and we meet. And even then, that might open the door just a little bit further because of the common connection, okay? As I said, it's a difficult thing to get on a list. It's not essential, it's definitely there. Just so you also know, as vendors ask, most wedding planners do not put a preferred list of vendors on their website, okay? That is their information, that's their bread and butter. So they usually keep their contacts pretty close to their chest. However, as I will explain to my vendors and stuff, is I don't have a preferred website, but when I post real weddings or when I share possibilities on social media and things like that, I credit my vendors. I give link backs to my vendors there. So it's kind of, the preferred list is there, but it's kind of hidden. So it's not rocket science to go to my website and often figure out who a lot of my preferred vendors are. So as I said, just so you understand why you won't see that on most wedding planners' website, we definitely appreciate those of you that add us to your websites, but because that is our specific information that people are hiring us for, we don't just put it all out there, because why then would they hire us? Anyways, I hope that gives you a little bit of insight. I hope you were able to enjoy our backdrop today from the Bahamas at the Sandals Royal Bahamian. So enjoy. If it makes you feel any better, I'm getting on a plane, on the shuttle to the airport and then back to Calgary where it has snowed. So I'm definitely heading back to winter. So I'm just soaking in the last of these few beautiful moments in paradise. Once again, as always, it's Cathy from Someday Consulting. If you are an entrepreneur, a creative professional, or someone else in the wedding industry looking for help on getting either your business started or learning more about how to have more effective social media, looking for website reviews, or how to even build some new concepts into your business and take your business to the next level, don't hesitate to check it out at somedayconsulting.ca. And you can contact us by email or phone, and we look forward to hearing you soon. Bye now from the Bahamas.